Hello, I'm Alan Stanley. I'm one of the lay ministers in the Elmmead Trinity Benefice, and welcome to this reflection for Monday the 16th of November. I wonder if you've ever tried walking around with your eyes shut. We used to do that quite a lot as kids. In fact, we used to do a lot of things as kids without thinking too much about the consequences. I'm going to read the incident of Jesus restoring a blind beggar's sight from Luke chapter 18 verses 35 to the end in just a moment. But first, can you just begin to imagine what it would be like to have very little or no sight? You may be in that situation already, but for the rest of us, it is hard to put ourselves there. One of the daft things I can remember doing as a, 8 or 9 year old was to run around the field next to my primary school one day instead of going straight home like I should have done. Not a terribly bad thing to do, until I tell you that there was a dense smog that day. Smog is like a dense fog, but with all sorts of particles mixed in it to make it even thicker. We kids, we love that sense of not being able to see our hand in front of us, of screaming to each other without being able to see who was there, of being totally disorientated. So it would have been good fun if the unfenced canal had not run down the side of that field. It would have been good fun if not a year before, a boy from our school had drowned in that canal. So not being able to see really is no fun. And it was even less fun in Jesus' day when being blind meant that you were no use to anyone. You just didn't matter. In fact, you were less than didn't matter. You were a jolly frank nuisance. So here's the incident as recorded for us by Luke. As Jesus approached Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside begging. When he heard the crowd going by, he asked what was happening. They told him, "Jesus of Nazareth is passing by." He called out, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Those who led the way rebuked him and told him to be quiet. But he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Jesus stopped and ordered the man to be brought to him. When he came near, Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" "Lord, I want to see," he replied. Jesus said to him, "Receive your sight. Your faith has healed you." Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus, praising God. And when all the people saw it, they also praised God. Jesus is on his way to Jerusalem for the last time, and it's an important journey for him. He's probably got, maybe another 15 miles to go. Perhaps Jesus is part of a larger group of pilgrims going there for the Passover. Perhaps they decided to travel as a group because, you know the reputation of the Jericho Road from the story of the man who got attacked there in the incident of the Good Samaritan. Somehow, in the press of numbers, this blind beggar discerns that something more than just a passing band of pilgrims is going on. What's happening? Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. Now, here's an interesting thing. This blind beggar somehow joins the dots. He sees something that those with working eyes miss. He calls out, "Jesus, Son of David." You will get that the man with poor eyesight shows more spiritual insight than those with 20/20 vision. But have you ever wondered about this man's past? What he was before he became blind? I learned that lesson many years ago when volunteering at St George's Crypt. The alcoholic down and out whose feet I was washing had once been a school teacher, a successful businessman, a husband, a father. What's that phrase? Don't judge someone's life by the chapter you happen to come in at. So, back to Jesus in this story. Everyone's trying to shut this man up, sweep him under the carpet. Don't trouble the great teacher, you inconsequential nobody. But Jesus stops. He doesn't share the prejudice of everyone else. He's going where this man cannot go. He's going to worship at the temple, a place where this blind man is forbidden to go because he's not pure enough. So Jesus stops and asks the man, "What do you want me to do for you?" Could it be that even in asking that question, Jesus is causing some in the crowd to think about their own lack of care for this man? If he had been well looked after by his community, would he have had to beg at the side of that dusty road? What did these people God made, what did they make of the commandment to love their neighbour as themselves? They hadn't shown much love towards this beggar, had they? Jesus' question, it's both an outpouring of compassion for the blind man and a rebuke to those who should have cared for him and didn't. What do you want me to do for you? Well, the answer could have been, give me a coin or two or some food. But the man asks for his sight back. Now, just pause a moment. This is a bit of a two-edged sword, really, isn't it? Getting his sight back will give him the opportunity to rejoin society, but will also put him under a lot of pressure. He will no longer be able to beg, and having been out of work for so long, how will he survive? He will now have to take responsibility for his own life instead of relying on others. It really is a fundamental life-changing call. But isn't that always what happens when we encounter Jesus? Now that the man can add sight to his existing insight, he follows Jesus and God gets the glory, just as it should be. This was the last miracle Jesus performed before those momentous events unfolded in Jerusalem, the miracle of restoring sight to a blind man. The last miracle worked by Jesus and recorded for us in the Gospels was when he restored the ear of the high priest's servant. You remember that the ear was struck off by one of his followers when Jesus was arrested, and Jesus just put the ear back. Do you see any significance in the fact that the last two gospel miracles recorded for us were restoring sight and hearing? Question: can you see who Jesus is? Question: can you hear his voice asking, "What do you want me to do for you?" A prayer. Lord, open my eyes so that I can see you for who you are. Lord, open my ears that today I may hear your voice whispering, "What can I do for you?" And open my heart so that I can answer you frankly and not piously. Amen.